Alright guys, welcome to my second vid. I'm going to be doing Fortnite patch notes and content updates. So yeah, let's get right into the vid. But I'm doing last week's patch notes because this week's didn't come out yet. But now let's get into the vid. Okay, so the first thing we got last week was the reboot van. A lot of people think it's pretty disappointing, but in my opinion, it's kind of balanced because it does bring you back into the game. So yeah. Okay, so the second thing that's on last week's patch notes is Buccaneers Bounty. I find this disappointing because you do 4 challenges just to get an emote that's Praise the Tomato redid. So yeah. But the challenges are pretty easy, so I don't know what I'm expecting. Okay, now we're getting to the actual notes. For last week's LTM, we got Flying Explosives, which is not my favorite because like you can easily no one builds in it, and part of the fun to me is building. So yeah, and yeah, there's a couple updates to it. So this one is pretty obvious. Only explosives spawn in the game mode, but then it says jetpacks occasionally spawn on the floor loot, and then you can just read the rest because I'll put a link in the description for the patch notes. Yeah, the rest is pretty pointless. So yeah, let's get to the next part of patch notes. Okay, so the next part of patch notes is for the Team Rumble people, which casuals are on the Team Rumble. So the kill cap was updated from 100 to 150, and then they decreased the final circle mass to 12,500 instead of 20,000. And they also minus a minute from the circle closing time, so fights happen more often because I played Team Rumble a couple times, and fights don't happen until like you get into the circle. And usually one team gets to the circle first, then you have to wait for the other team to finish looting and then go into the circle. Is pretty boring waiting for them. And then the rest of the updates for Team Rumble is just floor loot stuff that's not fun at all. Because it just says compact SMGs spawn more as floor loot, and yeah. Now we're moving on to weapons and items. So reboot vans got added last week, and they're in all POIs. If you don't know what a POI is, it's just a point of interest. So yeah, for example, it's like Pleasant or Tilted, but respawn cards are disabled in solos, obviously, and big LTM modes if they have the respawn feature in it. And the respawn cards only stay in the map for 90 seconds, then they despawn. Also, respawn cards interaction time is 0.5 seconds. So that's pretty relieving because I expected them to be like 1 second, but they're 0.5. And collector reboot cards can be turned in by any squad member regardless of which member picked up the card. That's also relieving because in Apex Legends, only the person who picked up the banner can respawn that person, which is pretty dumb because like what if that person gets killed? Can the other person still be respawned? Like yeah, that's a good addition to it. And the interaction time with the reboot van is 10 seconds, and the reboot van cannot be used for 2 minutes after it's used. Also, the people who got rebooted get 100 health, 1 common pistol, 36 light ammo, and 100 wood. And that's it for the reboot van. Okay, so the infantry rifle got buffed and it got nerfed at the same time, because damage it got decreased from 42 to 38, 40. Fall off damage at maximum range is increased from 26, 28 to 32, 34. That's a pretty good thing because I used to use the infantry rifle and that fall off damage was horrible because every time I shot them I would get killed because it did such little damage. But now we're moving on to the poison dart trap, and it's the patch notes say poison dart traps can damage ticks will no longer cause the camera to shake repeatedly. Okay, so we're moving on to bugs and fixes now. So they fixed the issue that occasionally prevented weapon fire from queuing for shotguns after switching weapons without repressing the fire key. That was actually a pretty big problem for me because I put my shotgun on the left, so as soon as I switch to the left I can fire. So yeah, that was a pretty big problem for me. They also fixed the issue if a clinger is attached to a player and they enter a baller that it wouldn't deal damage. I never knew that. Like I never knew that I could do that. So yeah. They also fixed sniper rifles playing fire animations twice per shot from the point of view of other players. I think I never had that happen to me either. But if that other person was a reporter, like when I say reporter, I mean he reports a lot of people. I think someone might get banned. They also fixed grenade projectile trajectories lagging behind slightly when moving and rotating. I don't use grenades at all, so I don't know how big of a problem this was for people. So just let me know in the comment section if that happened to you. They also fixed traps not activating if a player blocks line of sight with a structure, but then the structure is destroyed. I couldn't even pronounce that because I don't know what it means at all. But they fixed an issue with single shot weapons not reloading properly while in targeting mode. I'm guessing targeting mode is like ADS. So that was also a problem for me because one time I shot a sniper and it wouldn't reload while I was in ADS, and I got absolutely destroyed. So yeah. Oh, and I lost where I was. Oh yeah. So they fixed peppers not granting movement speed while walking. I never ate a pepper. I never even saw a pepper anywhere. So I don't know how that was an issue. And they also fixed zip lines after using a launch pad that could use the player to jump higher. That wording was horrible for Fortnite, but I never used that either. So yeah. They also fixed players getting knocked backward when firing the pirate cannon upwards. I don't really use pirate cannons, so I don't know how big of a deal this was. They also fixed pirate cannons getting stuck in indefinite horizontal rotation. Like I said, I don't use pirate cannons that much, so don't know how big of a deal that was. They also fixed an issue with the boom bow not showing up with the visualized sound effects option. I'm not deaf, so I don't use that. They fixed an issue with the boom bow having longer than expected projectile trail effects. I don't use the boom bow at all. I never even find a single boom bow, so I don't know if that was if that's a big deal. And they also fixed. Oh my God, this actually seems like a pretty big deal. They fixed an issue with the boom bow projectiles effects occasionally flying through the enemies. I can see how that's a big deal because it looks like the boom bow. It looked like the arrow went through the person, so I understand how that's an issue. And they fixed spelling error in the elimination feed with the boom bow. What was it? What was the spelling error? Get wrecked, son. Okay, YouTube still thinks I'm a bot. I have to say this really fast because I don't have enough time. So yeah, YouTube still thinks I'm a bot. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the gameplay, but it's gonna be cut short. But don't worry, I got the dub.